My guest today is Fernando De Leon, founder and CEO at iCapital Group, a holding company overseeing 12 independently managed subsidiaries in 3 divisions of financial services, healthcare, and real estate. Fernando, it's great to have you here today.
Thank you, Anastasia.
Thanks so much for joining us. And first of all, we're very thrilled about the new partnership with iCapital Group and iCapital, and the offering that you have on the iCapital marketplace, the industrial real estate, which we'll talk about. But with that, let's actually start with your story. And what I find fascinating is you've started your career on Wall Street at Goldman, but you've very quickly, I would say, pivoted to the entrepreneurship track and building businesses, scaling them, owning them. And that's what iCapital has been about. So why the pivot? What came about?
In New York, on a Wall Street investment bank was a great place to learn and kind of see a global capital supply chain. But I was ready to go back home and build businesses. I grew up in South Texas, right on the U.S.-Mexico border. And so my first foray into entrepreneurship was really as a translator. I was a translator for real estate developers that were coming from the United States to build manufacturing and logistics facilities in northern Mexico, and I was their facilitator. I helped them build projects and solve problems, and through translation helped them build consensus with constituencies, which is exactly what I've done my whole career. As we developed real estate assets, we have to create relationships with cities, with jurisdictions, with tenants, with companies that we partner with in order to meet their space needs in the industrial business, or when we're building housing. Every municipality is different. So some of those skills that I learned early on as a mediator between 2 cultures and languages, it allowed me to build multiple businesses. And we operate in primarily 3 different industries. In real estate, where we have industrial, multifamily, and healthcare real estate. And then in the healthcare industry, we have 6 operating companies across the country that operate in different specialties. And then in financial services, we invest alongside RIAs, we invest in the insurance industry, in consumer lending, and we also own a medical leasing company. So these businesses, we've created them all under the umbrella of iCapital.
Right, and of course those are, I would call the lifeblood of the U.S. economy, the small and medium-sized businesses that help day-to-day Americans really go about their business. So here's my next question for you. You've been doing this successfully as a single-family office for the last 17 years, but this is the first time that you are opening up some of your investment opportunities to third-party investors. So why did you decide to make that strategic pivot? And what's at stake?
Yeah, look, when I started the business, we had very little capital. We had a few friends and family that believed in us early, and I fought really hard to grow their capital. Many of them are still with us. There's a handful of family offices that co-invested with us for the better part of 15 years, but my job has been to compound capital and reinvest it and build new businesses. So when I built a warehouse in Phoenix and we sold it, we took the proceeds from that and we tried to build another business. Whether it was a dental business or a healthcare company or anything else, they were always businesses that complemented everything else we were doing in real estate or in services. And today, what I realized was one of the things that I had sort of underappreciated was this networking effect of having other family offices invest with us and having RIAs invest with us. So when we started opening up our investments to wealth managers and RIAs, and they joined us, we got to meet these incredible people, whether they were wealth managers or their clients, and these people became part of our opportunity to source new deals or to find co-investment opportunities with them. So it created these network effects that made our constituency much larger. And that's something that I don't think we'll ever go back on. I think we will be a much more sort of open opportunity for others to invest alongside us. And I think you look at this iCapital platform. that gives us distribution and connectivity with wealth management firms around the country, we're finding, that's a democratization of asset classes that people couldn't access before. And why shouldn't we connect with those folks and become partners with them and do what we've been doing for ourselves and kind of share that cooking with others?
Well, that is a phenomenal opportunity. I think you're absolutely right for some of the individual financial advisors that are looking for unique offerings in the industry. And obviously, you bring a tremendous track record and success story of doing that. So it's really great to have you on the iCapital platform. And Fernando, my last question to you is, you're used to looking at opportunity sets in the US and globally and across industries. When you think about it now, what are some of the biggest, business stories or growth areas that you're most optimistic about?
Look, I think we build things that Americans need. They need healthcare. They need housing. Mm-hmm. The products that are stored in a facility that they get through Amazon, they're in our warehouses. These are basic, essential goods and services that we manufacture for the American economy. I am going to continue to do that, whether that is in lending, in healthcare. These are businesses that are all complementary for us. And sometimes we find new things, right? We invested in the veterinary space a long time ago, and I did it because it was a tenant that was in one of our shopping centers. And we got to know their economics, we got to know how the American consumer was reacting to pet ownership, mm-hmm. and we saw these trend lines that were fantastic. So we learn things all the time when we're investing in real estate or in any one of our verticals. So we're learning constantly, and we're seeing, for instance, we're starting to make investments in earlier stage companies where we want to be connected to AI and technology, data, and all of those things help us make better decisions. But I think the productivity gains from AI, I think, are hard to overstate. We'll see a lot there. I think everything that we're going to do to schedule appointments in our healthcare companies, or to provide better customer service, or to make things more efficient and productive, a lot of it is going to come from technology. And America continues to be a place that receives entrepreneurs and immigrants that create great ideas, and all of that is what makes it an economy that it's the best place to invest in the world. I mean, we've looked at many other markets, and I've never seen anything with this level of growth. Even today, at a $30 trillion GDP economy, it still grows at 3 to 5%, and that's remarkable. And it's all because there are very, very good investable ideas in this country.
And entrepreneurs like you. So Fernando, it is indeed America's a special place, and thank you so much for coming on the show today. And it's been really great to hear your story, your path to entrepreneurship, the many businesses that you've built, and it's really exciting that now some of those things that you're optimistic about, the investors will also have an opportunity to invest alongside you. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your perspective.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Great to see you.